The Loch Vennachar was a three-masted iron clipper ship built in Glasgow in 1875. Some 1,550 tonnes, she was just over 250 feet in length and 38 feet breadth, and was considered a sleek and fast ship. In September 1905, she foundered on the west coast of Kangaroo Island, South Australia, with the loss of all lives. She was bound for Adelaide, carrying general cargo, having left Glasgow in June of the same year. It is difficult to picture what life would have been like on such a ship. However, fortunate for us, Henry Kemp captured life on the Loch Vennachar, having penciled sketches whilst on a journey from Glasgow to Melbourne in 1886. In 1976, the Loch Vennachar was formally discovered by members of the now disbanded Society for Underwater Historical Research, along with members from the Kangaroo Island Scuba Dive Club. Whilst wreckage had washed up on the south side of Kangaroo Island following the disappearance, wreckage had also washed up in West Bay, along with the body of a lone sailor, this area being the focus for the group. In February 1977, the Society for Underwater Historical Research, with government and business assistance, launched an expedition party of 34 to further investigate the wreck with intent to map the site. In 1980, a bow anchor was raised for restoration and is now located in the car park area at West Bay on Kangaroo Island. In 2010 and 2011, I made a number of attempts to discover significant new wreckage, finding new wreckage well north and further west. One of my discoveries included the flywheels and dunnage from what was a portable steam engine, or donkey engine as they were commonly known. The thought of the day was that the ship was too far eastward and therefore missed the Investigator Strait, which is a gateway to the Gulf into Adelaide. This was not uncommon, with the Loch Sloy coming to same grief only further south some 6 years earlier. On that occasion there were a few survivors to tell the story. The 76 exploration findings assessed that the Loch Vennachar had driven into the coast on the northwest course. I should note that findings by the exploration group was limited largely to their search area of the bow wreckage and immediate area. They were hampered by limited dive time due to sea conditions. If they did have more time, their conclusions may have proved different. I do suggest that the Loch Vennachar did attempt to tack away from shore or be brought about without success, and not simply drive into the island's coast on what would have been a northwest course. It is my view that the wreck site is also missing a significant bower anchor, with the remaining anchors at the site being auxiliary, including a Trotman anchor, captured here on video. Whilst it is possible that the Loch Vennachar lost an anchor en route on a stayover, it is just as likely that the anchor was let go, time permitting, to assist with trying to avoid collision. Unless it was a calmer seas with no swells, the breakers would have been heard well offshore, or maybe it was as harrowing as the conditions the Loch Sloy found herself in those many years before. The last sighting of the Loch Vennachar was made by the SS Yongala, or Yongala as she was also known, the captain noting that he has seen no ship more majestic than that of the Loch Vennachar with her full sails set. Some distance off Neptune Islands, they exchanged their all is well signals and continued on their course, the Loch Vennachar never to make port. The Loch Vennachar has had previous mishaps, including colliding with a steamship and sinking before being refloated. She was also caught in an almighty gale that caused significant damage, and she was considered by some to be an unlucky ship, certainly for those on board 1905. I appreciate you taking the time to view this short story of the Loch Vennachar. and we will finish off with Henry's sketches.